You are listening to the Built to Grow podcast, delivering the knowledge in all things fitness business. We help gym owners win. Here are your hosts, Tim Lyons and Randy Engston.
All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, and in studio, the gladiator of grit, Randy Engston. What's up, buddy?
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show.
We haven't added any
you know what's
guys
funny?
in a while.
I got hit with a Facebook advertisement for it.
For the pop things?
Tiger Woods.
Let's get it.
You know how, of course, when you want to see something, and then all of a sudden Facebook just like reloads and it's gone.
But
But I know they won't exist.
So if you're not watching us on YouTube, on the table here, the beautiful table that Kelly made with this 100-year-old Tennessee barnwood, we've got these little pop figurines. So I guess they're real popular, and you can basically find pretty much any character.
Seriously, like any celebrity
or movie or cartoon.
Iconic, character of.
We got Biggie Smalls on there.
Mm-hmm. Atom Bomb.
Garbage Pail Kids. You don't even remember those, do you?
Oh, I remember them. Oh, yeah. It was like the late end of that. Yeah. It was definitely not part of my...
For my birthday, I got like the 30th anniversary cards. It's super cool, like in a box set.
Yeah?
Yeah. My daughter made me open them.
Of course, naturally.
Yeah. So now they're worth absolutely nothing.
Less than the paper they were printed on, probably. But.
Anyway, but it was cool. It was cool to go kind of the nostalgia of that. So we're back in the saddle. We, the Fit Pro Growth Summit is sold out, so that's a great feeling. We're excited to get everybody out here. So if you're coming, we can't wait to meet you in person. We've got a lot of great stuff planned. You've kind of heard us talking about it. So if this goes well, maybe one in Nashville, because I think there's a lot of people wanting us to do one in Nashville. So maybe early quarter, like first quarter next year or something. We'll plan on doing another event if this one goes well, like I think it will be. But got a great episode for you today. This episode topic really stems from the last probably 10 client calls that we've had, and it really comes down to the business model that you're running inside your facility.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how we run it here. I know there's a lot of successful gyms that run this style model, and we're going to dive deep into the weeds on how you can kind of leverage what we're going to be telling you in your own facilities. And as always, if you need help with this and maybe launching this style of model in your facility, give us a call, book a call, pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. We'll walk you through it kind of on a more personal level, but basically a brief overview on, and really what we're calling this episode is the best profitability gym or model, or what do we call it?
The perfect gym model for profitability or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's essentially what it comes down to is, you can only change so many variables in your facility without changing the facility itself.
Right.
So how do you get the most out of 900, 1,200, maybe 20,000 square feet, whatever it may be, but let's make more money. So let's look at
the training model level, a couple of the standard gym models out there, right? So you probably at the base level, you've got like a class-based gym. So you've either got like a spin studio, a TRX, maybe a boot camp, maybe it's team training, group training, kind of would all wrap that into one thing. Maybe you're training like 8 to 25 clients all at the same time, kind of all doing the same thing, a high energy style. Really the goal there would be metabolic conditioning, fat loss, but that would be kind of one model.
Correct. Yeah.
Then maybe all the way on the other side of the spectrum, you've got the one-on-one private studio, which is basically one coach to one client. I know there's franchises out there. Fitness Together is a great example that just has one coach, one client at one time.
Yeah. I mean, private room, not even like around other individuals.
And so most people kind of fit into one or the other. I would probably venture to guess that most people live in the class-based model.
Correct. Yeah, I would say so.
But then there's this middle ground, and what most of our clients are coming to us is, hey, Tim and Randy, I think we need to layer in small group personal training into our model. How do we do it?
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the economics of it for a second, because it really makes the most sense, right? So going back to the class model, you've got this kind of low price point, let's call it $99 a month to say, $149 a month.
Yeah, I think that's what we're figuring, about that $149 mark.
And we know by just the basic trends in the industry, that those clients turn and burn, right? We had Amanda on with Orange Theory. They're at like 7 months or something. Here our team training level is 9.8 months. We had Rick from Alloy on. His model was 10 months.
10 months, sure.
All under a year, right? Granted, there's annual contracts and month to month, and so this all averages out to somewhere between 7 and 10 months. You got this client on board, and for 99 to 149, really the most you're going to make on the top end, $1,500. Sure. On the low end,
that's the client value to the business. Average client value.
Yeah, the revenue for the client. So that's that model. The pros and cons of that would be the pros. It's easy to sell. It's a low price point.
Single service usually.
Single service, high energy. You can have really any level coach coaching that, because everybody's doing the same thing. You just got to keep the energy high.
Yeah, large marketplace. Big need. I mean, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So there's a reason.
There's a lot of that kind of business, and if that's you, great, and you're crushing it, awesome. You might want to listen up, because we're gonna tell you how to get this small group training into your model if that's what you want to do. Then let's go all the way to the other side. Say this one-on-one coach. You got in smaller towns, that one-on-one coach is charging maybe $60, $70 a session, maybe even $50. All the way up to Manhattan, $200.
Sure, LA. 250, $3.
I don't know, maybe $3. There's got to be somebody who's charging $300 a session, but somewhere around $100 an hour. Even up here in North Scottsdale, over here at the Village, which is the high-end health club down the road here,
the social club.
They're like $100 an hour.
Yeah.
85 to 100. So what are the pros and cons there? Pros are you got one person to worry about at a time. You got this higher price point. So maybe somebody trains with you 10 times a month, and they're paying you $1,000 a month.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of clients to generate comparable revenue, because you've got a few people paying a higher dollar amount.
Yep.
Much easier to manage and focus on, and for the independent guy, that's an easier thing to do.
Yep.
But
there's
not all wins.
If there was all wins, everybody would be doing it. So there's obvious cons there. You're taking up an hour of your time. Or 30 minutes to train one person.
One person.
You got a great story about Deanna. You want to tell that story?
Well, yeah. I mean, just a great friend of mine she was doing one-on-one independent personal training, and
what was happening with her?
It got to a point where she didn't know how to maximize her time. Essentially, she got to a point where she was in the gym almost 12 hours a day, and she was feeling burnt out because the only way for her to increase revenue was to increase the number of people she was serving,
which means more time.
And it got to a point where her knowing us, and obviously we're long time lifelong friends.
Yep.
We got to a point where we were having conversations about how she could realign the things she was doing in order to make more money and serve more people. And I brought up small group.
Yep.
And we started to look at it from initially just the numbers. You're no longer trading an hour of your time for one potential client.
Yep.
Now you might take a hit on the actual value each client's paying you, but you can, add 4 more individuals to that same hour, and now that hour is exponentially worth more money to the business, even though the delivery and the time demand was the same.
Yeah.
And that was a big eye opener for her.
Okay, so, and to me, we've been doing this for 9 years this way, and I just thought this was kind of like the norm, and it's not the norm. And if you don't run small group training, you're not alone, because we talk to clients daily. We have 4 coaching clients in our system right now that we're bringing small group training into their model. And financially, let's look at the economics of it. It makes total sense, right? So instead of charging $100 an hour and training one person in 1 hour, you can charge just for math on the show, because you know how great we are. Yeah. You can train 4 clients at $50 each and make $200 for that hour. The client pays less, you make more, or the gym makes more, and it's the same hour.
Of that time.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing too, right to that point, the sell becomes a little bit easier.
Yep.
The marketplace is now a little bit, broader. We got much more people that can spend $50 for that session than the few that can only spend $100.
Right.
And so right off the bat, it changes a lot more than just the gym or the deliverable of that 1 hour of the trainer too.
Yep.
the whole conversation then changes.
Yeah, and think about this. If you're a big box gym, maybe you're running a large box. I think the last number I heard is like 3 to 6% penetration on training members in a big box gym.
Interesting.
So it's just, again, that smaller demographic that could afford this one-on-one training. So small group makes a lot of sense there as well.
Sure.
And just kind of give Alloy a plug. And I don't think he's doing licensing anymore, but he's, he was, the reason he became so big, Rick, was because he was installing small group models into big box gyms.
Yeah.
They only did one-on-one. Then they hired Rick, and Rick and his Alloy team kind of installed the systems and the small group training level for the big box gyms. So it made a lot of sense for them. But for our training gyms that we're speaking to, this is something you can implement immediately, or next quarter, or next month, or January, or whatever you want to do. And it really looks like this. You've got clients training about 4 or 5, I've even seen up to 6 clients with one coach.
Sure.
Now, a lot, the very first thing that comes up is like, how do I train 6 clients, 4 clients, 5 clients all at the same time? Are they doing the same thing? How does that work? And so I'll just explain how we do it here. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. And again, if you're interested in doing this in your gym, we've got some tools and things we can help you with this. It's pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. Just book a time and we'll chat it out. But here, how we do it here is we look at the calendar and we look at the quarters of the year. So there's 4 quarters, and we kind of rotate the, I guess, macro training programs by quarter. So maybe quarter 1 we're doing strength. You don't quote me on this because I don't do the program, but maybe we do strength programming in quarter 1, then we'll do hypertrophy, then we'll do endurance, and then we'll do power or something like that quarter. And what that means is we're changing rep ranges. The movements might change. A lot of the movements, there's only so many movements, right? We do everything based on movement patterns. So horizontal push, horizontal pull, vertical push, vertical pull, hip hinging, knee hinging movements, anti-rotational core movements, and we do metabolic conditioning and all that fun stuff in between. So there's a lot of progression and regressions on every single movement. So for all the trainer dorks out there that are listening to me, I get it. I know there's a ton of different movements, and really the way we do it in a kind of a week chunk here, we've got like an A through E workout. And so maybe A this week is we're focused on 2 core movements, which would be horizontal push and then maybe knee dominant leg movements. Again, I don't do the programming here. I just know how it's done. And then maybe the next week, the A is the opposite. So maybe it's horizontal pull and hip dominant movements. Again, I don't know. But every Monday is an A, so everybody in the gym's doing an A workout. Mm-hmm. The movement patterns will change week to week. So if somebody just comes in on Mondays every week, they're getting a different workout every week, not doing the same movement. So that's how we rotate it through. But we keep our coaches on one program for that day.
Yeah,
the workout
makes a lot of sense.
Now, within the workout, we have things that change, right? So the movement pattern, again, going back to maybe horizontal push, maybe we've got a beginner, and so maybe the movement's a push-up. Let's just call it a push-up. She can't do a push-up. Maybe we're doing a 45-degree push-up off the wall or off of a bar.
Off a bar. Mm-hmm.
But maybe you got Joe Quarterback in here, and he's more, athletic. So with the horizontal movements, maybe, TRX suspended, foot on the box, weight on the back, suspended push-up.
Sure.
Which is a much more difficult movement. Again, it's still a horizontal push. That's how we do it. And
so scalability within, regardless of, and just to kind of, drive home the point, you're not changing complete program design around the individual. The facility and an individual who's designing the programming sets it up for the facility, and then kind of like within each lane has its own available scalability based on the client's needs, their capabilities, injury, all of those things come into play. But it's the small side of it, not, oh my God, this person has an ACL, they're recovering from an ACL injury, they can't do any of our stuff.
Yeah, we'd be able to scale it up or down.
Correct.
The one thing, that you hit on there that I need to make very clear, we got 5 coaches here. One coach, which is our fitness director, designs the programs for the facility. Mm-hmm. Each coach doesn't design their own programs. And the reason we do that, and the number one reason why you should listen to this, is that when you train your clients, that's the product that you're selling.
Of the facility.
Of the facility.
Correct.
And the business needs to control the customer experience. If you allow your coaches to create new workouts in the way they want to do it, the customer experience changes from customer to customer, or from client to client.
Yeah, or from trainer to trainer.
Yeah, from trainer to trainer. So, that's a problem.
It was a big red flag. Oh, yeah. Or is a big red flag.
Yeah, so get control over your programming as a gym, and have a fitness director or somebody, a lead coach, design the programming. That's the number one thing I could tell you, because when you have several coaches, and the way we operate here is any client can train with any coach at any hour. Mm-hmm. So most of our coaches are on a blocked, like they're either in the morning shift or the night shift, or morning and afternoon. If the client wants to come in at 8 in the morning on a Monday, but also come in on Thursday at 4 p.m., they're going to be with two different coaches.
Sure.
Because our coaches are Monday in the morning or afternoon. But what that does is allows our clients the flexibility to come in at any time of the day, any day of the week. So maybe 8 a.m. on Monday and 4 p.m. on Thursday, and then 7 a.m. on Saturday.
And receive the same experience, because it's controlled by the facility.
Yes. Through
its program design from one individual and facilitated by one of 5.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, let's just go down, it's almost like a pyramid effect, right? And then within there, 2 people can be side by side getting the same movements, directed towards them, and they could be doing 2 different skill levels based upon the individual. You guys, what he just did and explained for you is probably some of the most valuable structure of anything we've ever given away.
It's just how you systematize training, personal training on a grander scale. It's just, we've developed it ourselves. I originally learned it from meeting Rick. I'll give him a lot of the credit, because before Alloy existed, I went out there and met with him, and we took kind of some of the ideas back here. We've obviously created it our own, but it's the same principles: movement patterns, scalability, rotation of the workouts per week, and one program design coming from the facility, controlling the product for all clients. From coach to coach, the same client can get the same or similar experience, and they're all getting great workouts.
And you could take that, and that's the beauty of it, right? It's not wash, rinse, repeat. It's not identical, and it's not like you went out there and you said, okay, I need your program design, and implemented the same exact thing. No. You took the theory and the principle of the structure of how it was done, and you could have, there's training methodologies change all the time, facility to facility, all the type of training that your beliefs. So you could plug in a different belief system into that same structure and have a similar result at the end of the day for your facility. Yep. That's a big thing. So consider that, look at your business, look at the beliefs you have in your personal, the way that you train your clients and the things you stand for, and then see if something like the structure that Tim just laid out can be implemented into your facility.
Yep. And then we layer in the other option, which is our team training for metabolic conditioning. So what we're talking about on the small group personal training level has to look and act and taste and feel different than your team training. It just has to be different. If you're going to charge more for it, it can't be the same workout. Well, that makes no sense, right? Oh, just because I get less people in my group, I pay more? No.
Yeah. You're not paying just for that. And that's, I think, some of the hesitation, I think, is in people moving into a small group or something, is they're like, oh, well, I can do the same thing, but I just do it with more people.
Or less people.
Or less people. Well, not exactly, right? No. They're ultimately have 2 different purposes.
Absolutely.
They're layered options to the individual that's receiving the result.
And the way we sell it, if you want to think of it as a sell, is we prescribe based on the client's needs, right? So maybe they need fat loss and they need to build strength. Well, it's a combination of both. So when somebody just needs fat loss and they're cleared to do the team training style, because there's a lot of screens that have to happen, because you can't throw an injured person into team training.
Sure.
You just can't give them the attention. So maybe by default they move up into small group training, but you're doing some more metabolic work with them, which we always add metabolic work at the end of every one of our workouts for a couple reasons. One, it gets results. Every client can lose fat. There's not one client in your gym right now that couldn't lose body fat. I mean, they're not stepping on stage.
And the cardiovascular benefits of
Right.
building muscle or gaining strength, all of it. They
Yep.
And you guys should know this. You do know this. So
Yeah. And then we want them to leave on a little bit of a high, right? They leave the gym huffing and puffing, sweaty, high heart rate, some high fives just happened. They felt like they got a great workout. They go in their truck or their car, they're drinking the smoothie. Wow, I feel great right now. And that's why we do that for other benefit for that. So, I mean, it's just something that we do here. I didn't realize it was that difficult because, again, we've been doing it for 9 years. But now that I'm talking it through, I can see how a gym wouldn't understand how to put this in there. Now that I'm actually talking about it.
We say it all the time. We are too close to the problem.
Yeah. Maybe it is more than we realize. We just kind of do it day to day, and the team runs it, and it's the play, and we've been doing it for so long. It's just maybe it is a little bit more to it than just throwing it in there. So. There's some great ideas, but when going back to when we sell it, it's a prescription. Hey, Mrs. Johnson, it sounds like you need to work on more strength training until we can get you into the small group or into the team training. Let's put you in a small group. And just the economics, going back to that, let's just say we've got 3 levels of small group training, maybe 4 times a week, maybe 4 times a month, 8 times a month, maybe 12 times a month. We actually have an unlimited. One thing that nobody talks about when you sell your small group training, this is where you're going to want to take a notepad out because this confuses a lot of people. If you're selling training at 8 times a month, in the client's head, they think it's twice a week because everybody just defaults to 4 weeks per month.
Sure.
Okay, that's twice a week training. If you sell it at 8 times a week, you need to understand. I keep saying that 8 times a month. You need to understand that doesn't mean twice a week. Okay, it means 8 times a month. Okay, so just kind of go through some math for a second. If you sold training at 8 times a month times 12 months in a year, that's 96 training sessions. Okay, so circle 96 on your paper. If you sold training at twice a week times 52 weeks, that's 104 training sessions. That's a difference of 8 training sessions. That's a difference of 1 month of revenue.
1 month of complete
revenue.
Yeah.
So you either need to sell it as twice a week training and adjust your pricing accordingly, or you sell it at 8 times a month and then you charge extra when those 2 or 3 times a month or year that you got that extra week in the month. Make sure you roll that. And so you just have to know which one you're going to do.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I think that it's clear enough to follow.
I hope so.
It's a math problem. I mean, it makes perfect logical sense.
Like if you want to do, like if you're going to charge monthly for this, and you say, okay, I want $50 a training session, okay, and I'm going to do 8 sessions a month. So let's call that $400. So $400 a month times 12 months, that's $4,800. Okay, so you just sold a $4,800 annual training program at 8 times a month. However, if you sell it at twice a week, it gives you 104 sessions into that $4,800. You're getting much less than $50. I don't know the math,
I mean.
So what you need to understand is if you're gonna sell it at twice a week, and you want $50 a session, what you need to do is take 52 times 2 equals 104 times 50, which is, do the math, then divide that number by 12, and that's your new monthly rate.
There you go. Just do it.
Twice a week training, 52 weeks twice a week times 52 weeks in a year is 104. You want $50 a session? Cool. Multiply that times 50, so 104 times 50, then divide that total by 12, and that's your monthly rate. So it's either one or the other. If you sell it at twice a week, you're probably going to make more since they're paying for it, and if they don't, if they don't come in that last week, if they only have 8 sessions a month kind of play, and it's like, oh, I'm going to go into 9, I'm going to wait till the next week, and it resets. So again, think it through, decide what's best for you. We sell it at 8 a month here.
Well, and if you don't really mind the difference on the value per session, that if it's close enough for you and your business where it's not a big deal, it could be a conversation for incentive too. Okay. You know what I mean? If you've got $8 a month, and that client's paying for $8 a month, but then they're going to have those every month that hits for the year that they have 5 weeks, that could be the benefit to the client, and you could position that as a benefit to the client. That could be a selling point. That could be a conversation, or hey, these two are on us.
Yeah.
Those types of things go a long way in the conversation with the client experience and the happiness and the retention and the, but know that there is a difference just simply based on math, because calendar years aren't always 4 weeks.
Yep.
Calendar months.
Here's the math, just so you guys know. If you take the twice a week times 52, it goes 104, and you multiply that by 50, it comes out to $5,200 over the $4,800. So now you divide that number by 12, it comes to $433 a month versus $400 a month. Okay, so you're either potentially losing $33,
$33,
or if you did it the other way and you said, okay, I'm going to do 104 sessions a year. I'm just going to do twice a week, so it's 4,800 divided by 104. 4,800 divided by 104. So instead of $50 a session, you're getting $46.15 a session. So you're losing $4 a session if you don't do it that way. So,
well, I mean, that $4 a session could be a huge detriment to the business, especially over a year, depending on how you're paying your client, your trainers as well.
Yep.
If you're on if that scale, like we've talked about in part of our beliefs, if you're paying your client or your trainer based on the number of clients they're serving or the number of sessions that they're doing and all of those types of things, $4 every session is a much bigger conversation than, somebody who's going to be in your business on a salary or a set, specific dollar amount.
And that's a whole nother podcast, how to pay your coaches. In fact, that'll be our next one. I think that's a great topic because as a business owner, you need to control your expenses. And if you are paying your coaches by person or percentages, you can't win. As your clientele goes up and you're making more money, guess what happens when you run it that way? Your salaries go up, and you're never making more than whatever that margin
scalability.
is. You can't
exactly.
scale that way.
Yep.
So something to think about. We could always do another topic on how to pay your coaches, because this is a big question. This happens in our private client coaching. Guys, here's the thing. All this stuff, we cover all of this in our 8-week private client coaching. Our private client coaching program is 8 weeks long, is $10,000. Okay, for $10,000, you can work with us, fix all of this stuff, and I guarantee you're going to make 15 times more than the $10,000 investment that you decide that you know what I mean, to work with us.
Sure. And I mean, just a lesson that we went through right there. Like,
that's all in there.
Understanding that, per session you're giving away $4 per session just because of the way that you have your agreements written.
Yeah.
That's like looking at a P&L and going, holy crap, we're just throwing money out a window that we didn't even know was leaving.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, to the client, there's no real big difference in the agreement. Like, they don't. It's still the same service and results and things like that they're receiving, but the dollar amounts for the business, and when how many clients in your business are impacted by this, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's things like that is why having a coach or having somebody who's gone through and figured out these problems, experienced these things, invested in coaching in the past to figure out all of these struggles and have the answers for you. That is 100% the reason that we've put it all in one place, and we've turned around and now we're helping others.
Absolutely. If this existed when I was coming up, I would have jumped all over it.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
A lot of people are like, I don't, I'm interested in it. How much is it? I'm just going to tell you right now, there's nothing to hide. It's $10,000.
Yep.
It's $10,000. $10,000 to make 10 times more than that. Like,
let's talk about, because one of the things we really didn't get on is the value to a facility that has a single service by adding an additional service like small group. Yeah. So if you are that team training, large metabolic conditioning
got
format
a great example. Jeff ran a CrossFit. Jeff's here in town, ran a CrossFit. We did private client coaching with him. We layered in some stuff, right? He's making $35,000 a month more per month than a month. So he's already made his money back times 3 per month. Because he didn't offer it. Now he offers it.
He didn't know his clients were looking for it also. That was the thing.
Yeah.
People will buy from you guys. Are the experts in the industry. Your clients are coming to you for that prescription. Hey, this is my problem. You're the solution I think, to provide, or that's going to provide that solution for me. You're coming from a place of authority. If you know that you can provide a better service or a better result to your client by opening up an additional service in your business, and it's going to go across, potentially every client walking through the door, that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Like huge consideration.
And it's not, we're making it sound a lot easier than it really might be, because you can't just decide one day you're going to do it and then everybody joins. We have a specific process that we roll this out in a facility. We went to the T, like on every single thing with Jeff and Julia, and made sure that their rollout was great. They had some squeaky wheels in that group. They had some people that were upset about the changes, but I can tell you, doesn't matter what you change in your gym.
Somebody's going to be upset.
You can
or have something to say.
Somebody always has something to say. So regardless, you have to look at the business. Like, I can go change the music and somebody's going to say something. Like, it just doesn't matter what you do in your gym. I'll give you a really good example. When we first moved over from our old space, we brought in spin, right? Like, spin was hot. We were thinking, man, we can have some spin sessions in here. We got like 17 or I think 20 bikes. We built a room out for it. We're going to do yoga and spin in here. And we didn't charge anybody any more than they were already paying. We rolled in a new thing, right? So they're all excited. They got this thing for free. And so the first like 3 or 4 months, every class was packed. And then it slowly, just kind of like people didn't do it anymore. The newness wore off. They loved the classes. Like, I was like trying to figure out why, so we did some surveys and I just can't make it today or whatever. And they started slowly until there was like one person.
Yeah.
So I decided, you know what, guys, I didn't charge you for it. You obviously aren't using it. I took it out. I just said, you know what, screw it. We're not going to do this anymore. For a lot of reasons. One, you can't be the best at everything.
Sure.
Spin studios are the best at being spin studios. We're the best at training. That's what we feel like we are. So we took it out, and it was an uproar. People were quitting.
Yeah,
they were quitting. Oh, my God, I can't believe you got rid of that spin. And yoga, we loved it. I go, if you loved it, you should have came to it.
And that's the thing.
We hung on to it for like an extra 3 months, just hoping. We were promoting it, and we're getting it. Was like nothing worked. So you know what? Bye. And again, they weren't paying more for it. They just weren't using it. We got rid of it, and then they were pissed. You can't win sometimes. Right?
Yeah. Change is inevitable, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the conversation that we're having, again, it comes back to profitability in your facility. If you're here for the purpose of growing your business, for making more money, providing more people with the opportunity for health and fitness, knowing your numbers, knowing what you can provide, layering services, things like that. You add a small group training with focus on, strength, hypertrophy. Like, it's a completely separate model than just the fat loss that those facilities are doing. Now you have 50% of the marketplace that might never have considered you an option. That's a lot more people to talk to.
Yes.
So there's so much more that goes into it other than just the people that are in your facility as well.
Absolutely. You can help more, right? Reach out to bigger net. Exactly. There's a lot of people that don't like team training or group or boot camp. They just don't like it. Maybe they had a bad experience. Maybe they got hurt once. Maybe they did CrossFit and they got hurt or whatever, and it's like they have this bad stigma around large groups of people.
Or maybe they're intimidated.
Or maybe they're intimidated.
Hey, I don't know, like, my fitness levels aren't at the rate of stepping into a group with 20 other people. I'm going to be the last one in line.
Yeah, they're intimidated.
So all right, cool. But now we can get you into that, or we can, because ultimately that's where, we would prescribe your needs based on the things you've told me. But let's give you a game plan for getting into there.
Perfect.
Let's build the relationship. It's not going to, it's all or nothing right now.
Yep.
But now by offering something additional, now you can have that conversation. You can speak to somebody and serve somebody that you couldn't previously.
Exactly. Yep. Lots of reasons to move this way.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of reasons.
It's becoming more and more prevalent with the conversations we're having. I think throughout this podcast we realize that maybe it is a bigger,
it is.
Bigger need, bigger hurdle to cross, by bringing something new into this business,
what,
but
guys?
the need.
We got the game plan for you. If you're interested in it. Now you're not going to change anything by not making a decision.
Absolutely.
Right. And we've got the game plan. We've done it over and over and over. We've got testimonials. We got clients running through it right now. It's something we love to do. I mean, this is coaching. We're moving towards this business coaching versus just trying to get everybody leads, just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to have this foundational, built to grow gym that then you can turn the leads on, and then now every lead's worth 10 times more, right? For every single person you sign up, you're getting, instead of 99, you're getting, like a $700, $800 client lifetime value to, like a $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 client lifetime.
Two hard facts that we know about it too.
Yeah.
Adding a small group versus just the team training, client retention, much, much longer.
Yes.
Client value, not only based on the retention, but per month, much, much higher. So you want to talk about the 80-20 rule, you layer that in, you might only increase the amount of people in your door 20%, and you're making potentially 80% more revenue.
Boom.
Dude, could you imagine doubling?
Like, just hit you, like, wait a minute.
Well, because we're numbers guys, regardless of how horrible we do math on the fly over here.
I thought I did pretty good today.
For you YouTube listeners, we'll know why.
Yeah.
Or viewers. But we do the math so often. Like, we get it. It drives. But to be able to show you guys the potential of what's on the table in your own businesses, that's where you guys just dive in, look at it. Let's get on a call. Let's dissect where you are today, where you want to be. We have the roadmap.
Yeah.
Allow us to lock arms with you and let's go.
Let's do it. How do they find get a call?
pfmarketingsolutions.com/call. /call.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Make more profit in your gym by adding this one little thing to your gym. Amazing stuff. All right, guys.
Great stuff.
Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.